Thank you, Nelda, for this opportunity to deliver this information. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It is great to see you all. And my name is Nelda Quigley, as Candace said. I also work with JDS, and Nora's my boss. So really be nice. And Candace is also my boss. So, send those reactions to me, and, um, and we're going to have a good time together today. I'm going to share my screen quickly and start off with giving a few, let's see, here we go. Come on, there we go. So I've developed some of my own, what I call Zorms. Um, I'm going to ask you, please keep your cameras on. I really feed off of your smiles and your reactions, so I appreciate that. I hope you'll comment as often as you want. You can unmute yourself and say anything at any time. You can put things in the chat because Nora's going to be monitoring that. And truly, I hope that you will find that this is fun and that you'll have a little bit of a chance to relax. So that said, let's go into the more formal part. Why isn't my screen not advancing? Nora, why is my screen not advancing? There, I didn't hit it hard enough. Okay. So I think we've already established that. Now I'm going to stop sharing for a minute and give us a chance to introduce ourselves. And the first thing I would like you to try for me is, I know some of you know each other because you've been in the department for a while, and some of you don't know each other so well. So maybe you joined right during the pandemic, I'm not sure. But I'd like you to shake hands with each other, and here's how you're going to do it. You're going to put one hand here and one hand here. Can you do that for me? Can you put one hand on either side of the screen? Be sure it's right there. Okay, now let's shake hands. Okay, very good. Now here's a big challenge. Can you do it this way? Shake hands this way. Okay, that's really giving yourself a hug so you can get started today in the way that I really hope you'll have fun and enjoy. Now, I need to get back to my slides right there. And we've done this. Oh no, we haven't introduced, I'm sorry, I'm going to stop sharing a minute. I do want you to introduce yourselves. I'm looking forward to knowing you better. So what I would like you to do, please, is to introduce yourself with your name, how long you've been with the department or with Dana-Farber or both, and think about someone in your work life somewhere, could be at Dana-Farber, could be in a former job, who inspires you. I will start. I will tell you that I worked at Dana-Farber. No, I worked at Brigham and Women's. And there was a nurse, and her name was Eloise Clausen. And she was the first person that I knew who started talking about cultural competency in healthcare. I learned a lot from her, and I took what I learned and brought it with me to what I do today. So let's see. The person under me is Maggie. Maggie, are you ready to talk about who you are and who inspires you?
Sure. My name is Maggie, and I'm an admin for the palliative care side of the department. And I started in November, so I've never met anybody in person. I've been working fully remote, so I am looking forward to getting back on site. And I would say everyone I've had the chance to work with inspires me, but Kim in particular. Kim works really hard, and she taught me pretty much everything that I know when I first started. And I think I probably bugged her a lot, but she's been awesome. So thank you, Kim.
Okay, so Maggie, can you pass it on to someone else, please?
Sure. What about Maura?
Hello, my name is Maura Haverty. I'm the Faculty Affairs and Fellowship Coordinator in POPC. I've been in this role for almost 2 years now, but I've been at DFCI for 6 years in total. And I would have to say, before I started at DFCI, I actually worked in the field of special education. And so I had a particularly close relationship with one of the students that I worked with. Her name is Lulu, and she has Down syndrome. And she has been a big inspiration in my life. I still work with her on the weekends sometimes and still have a good relationship with her family, but I would say she's definitely one of my inspirations.
Thank you, Maura. Can you call on somebody now, please?
Dulcia.
Thanks, Maura. I'm Dulcia Courant Morgan. I am an admin 2 in adult palliative care. I've been a DFCI for 2.5 years, I think. And probably the person who inspires me the most from my recent career is my supervisor when I worked at the Harvard Chan School. Just someone who really was just a really great manager and really was able to keep things moving. And it was someone who, whenever she sort of saw a barrier, was very focused on removal of barriers and sort of getting things done. And I just always thought that was a magic trick. And I will tag it over to Allie.
Good morning. My name is Allie Mejia, and I've been with the PAC team for 3.5 years now. I'm the program coordinator and fellowship coordinator for PACT. My team inspires me every day. I think they're the reasons that I'm here. I really admire each and every one of them. They deal with very sick children, families, and they do so many amazing things, and that just makes me want to work even harder. So my team, they inspire me.
Thank you.
Amanda.
Thanks, Allie. Let me make sure you guys can hear me. Okay, so Amanda Bryant, Program Administrator for Psychosocial Oncology, and I've been with POPC for 3 years now, this month. And prior to that, I worked in research for 1.5 years. One of the people that has inspired me is one of my mentors from Beth Israel, one of my previous jobs. She wasn't my direct manager, but there was just something about her that inspired me. She was always present. She always had a smile on her face. And despite what she was going through outside of work, you could never see what was going on outside of work. And little old me, I would go and talk to her. This was when I was front desk in the weight loss surgery program. And I asked her if she could be my mentor and talk to her a little bit about her career path and how she got to be where she was. She's a director now. At the time, she was a practice manager. She was dealing with a mom who had Alzheimer's and a kid in college and 2 in high school. So she had a lot going on outside of work, but she was still present and she still always had a smile on her face despite what she was going through outside of work. And I really appreciated that about her and taking the time to sit with me and constantly mentor me. And we still keep in touch to this day. So that is someone who inspires me.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Calling somebody?
And I will pass it on to Nigel.
Good morning and congratulations on 3 years, Amanda. So my name is Nigel Barber. I'm the newest admin for psychosocial oncology and I've been here since November. And I would have to say someone that is still like a super solid role model in my life was a director for a previous job. She's actually a social worker, phenomenal human being. And she definitely just knew how to light up a room when she walked in. So I certainly admire her for that. Hands down, knew how to work through a crisis and keep a smile on her face. So that's something that I will always admire about her. And I'll pass it to Charlene.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Charlene. I'm a admin, sorry. I'm an admin in the adult palliative care division. I've been part of the team just about 6 months now. And let's see who I was gonna say. I was gonna piggyback off Maggie and say Kim is an inspiration for me. I worked with her previously, so I know she has a solid work ethic, and she was very instrumental into helping me transition and learn, and still doing so within my position here. So, and I don't know who did I miss. Whose turn is it? I'll pass on to Olivia.
Hi, I'm Olivia Pappas. I am Dr. Tolsky's assistant. And a person that inspires me was also from a previous job. Her name is Joan, and she was a social worker. And she can manage a crisis very well. She went above and beyond for all of her patients, but she also knew the point at which to stop and let the patients dictate their own feelings and wants, which was really important. And I'll pass it to Kim.
Good morning. I'm Kimberly. I've been in adult palliative care admin assistant role for about a year. I think I have so many people that have inspired me along the way, but the ones that stand out the most is a former manager by the name of Gloria Bush. She was my first boss that I worked with at Mattapan Community Health Center some years ago. And she really conditioned me and, you know, gave me the tools to be who I am today. And she's an older woman and she's probably in her 90s now, but we do still keep in touch and she is very much a part of my life. And I think that would be the one of the most people that I say has inspired me along the way. And I think I'm going to pass it to Rebecca.
Thanks, Kim. My name is Rebecca Brusso, and I'm the program administrator for palliative care. I would say this is kind of non-traditional, I guess. This was way back when I was doing an externship, and my preceptor, his name was Robert. I can't say I really liked him as a person, but he did kind of stick with me with the way that he kind of taught me and was my mentor during that time. One of his advice that he gave me that has stuck with me is see one, do one, teach one. And I feel like that applies to pretty much everything in life. And so that has always stuck with me. But I think in a positive way and a negative way, he has inspired me along my journey, which, like I said, it's not traditional, but he has stuck with me.
I totally get that about sometimes you don't actually like the person who's teaching you something. Yes, that's good. Thank you for that. Raise your hand if you haven't gone yet so we can find you. Okay. Sarah.
My name is Sarah Ford. I'm the admin for the social work department. And I would say my current supervisor, Ellen Casey Magleby, is someone that I look up to in a very specific way, is that she has an outstanding memory, work related and personal, but she always remembers little personal details and will be sure to follow up. So whether it's, oh, I'm going for a walk with my grandmother this weekend, she'll ask, like whether it's like the next Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, she'll follow up on a small detail like that. So
I love that.
Yeah, it definitely like breaks the ice in a meeting and makes you feel like someone remembered. So it was nice.
Yeah, that's great. So who else? I think we're missing one person. Who are we missing? Yeah, that's what I thought. Hi, jump in.
Hi, my name is Safira. I started with POPC pediatric side in December, and someone who inspired me from my previous job at internal medicine at MGH is one of the nurses. As soon as I started, we had like an instant connection. She's so inviting. It's anytime like she's always open to speak and give advice. So that we've created like a close bond. And even though we still keep in touch, she I would say she was one of like my biggest motivators to like pretty much do more in my current position to like, as far as like excelling. So I would definitely say that's one of the people who inspired me.
That's great. Wow. I have a whole lot of people I'd like to meet right now. All those people that you said. Candace, Rachida, Nora, we've already met you, but would you like to quickly just say who inspired you? I mean, you're in a whole different, kind of arena. So it's just, I would just love to hear it. Candace.
Sure, I'll jump in. Well, first of all of you all are inspirational to me, and this is not like, I don't want to be corny, but I do say this all the time, is that Nelda has been a true inspiration, and I don't want to, I'll tell you, I know that she has some accountability to me now, but around 30 years ago, I was accountable to her, and she was really the one that introduced me to this work of workforce development. And at the time, it wasn't called workforce development, but she was my boss at the Brigham, and was really committed to ensuring that Brigham and Women's at the time had a presence in the community, and and was just so perseverant around that. And in watching that, it really inspired me to continue in that work. And here I am 30 years later and having the opportunity to work with her again. So
I feel very lucky
just
too,
never know.
Candace.
So,
Thank you for
truly.
that. I appreciate it. Rachida?
Sure. I mean, I know I don't want to sound corny either, but to my left is my work wife, Candace Burns. I mean, we have been partner in crime for, 8 years since I've been here. And I think her passion really and her commitment aligns with what I value, and that's, helping to give access and opportunities to adults and youth in our community. So, yep, yours truly, Candace.
So Nora, not the last. You are the last, but certainly not the least. So
I guess when I first got into education, I was an assistant teacher in a 10th grade classroom, and our lead teacher just had levels of patience that I aspire to, and did a really incredible job of meeting all like 80 15-year-olds exactly where they were at, and stepping them along the way. And I'm inspired by her all the time.
Wonderful. I kept hearing themes of patience, knowing what to do in a crisis, helping other people, mentoring. So as you are developing your careers, to continue to aspire to be that to other people. And we're going to start today with being very intentional about how we're going to develop our careers to be all those things to other people. So I'm going to go to my screen again and start this conversation. So we've done this. And, okay. So we're going to take a quick minute, and everybody on your screen or on your desktop, I would really like you to establish a professional development folder. If you know how to do this, just go right ahead, open up your desktop, pop in a folder, name it professional development or whatever you want to name it. If you're not sure how to do that, Nora stands ready to walk you through it. So just, I don't know, raise your hand or give her a chat, or maybe Nora, you can just tell people, even if they do know. Sometimes you can't think on the spot.
Sure. So you're probably already doing this, but the fastest way to add a folder to your desktop is to minimize everything. Right-click on a blank area of your desktop, select new folder, and it will let you name it. If anyone's really lost, I'm happy to share my screen and show you.
Okay, so I can't see you all, but I think Nora can. Can you, Nora, see people? Or send her a chat? I'm going to continue as if you all have done this, because we're going to move pretty quickly through our presentation. I don't want to miss anything, but I want to give you time to have a little feedback about this. So in this professional development folder, here's what you're going to do right from the get-go. You're going to find your current job description. You're going to pop it in there. You're going to find any annual reviews that you've had in the past, sometimes called evaluations. I don't really like the word evaluation. I like it, the term review. You're going to put in notes about meetings, special assignments that you've had, achievements that you've accomplished during the past year. By special meetings, I mean maybe you are for some reason called into a meeting where you can assist with something. Can be anything that seems important to you that you don't want to forget about, that you pop in some notes about that. Any certificates of completion around any conferences you might go to. I'm not giving you a certificate for this particular workshop series, but you certainly do want to note that you popped it in there, that you attended, that maybe some key takeaways. So that all those things are going to go into your professional development, and they're going to help you when it comes time for your performance review. You're going to be able to remember all those things that you did that made a difference in the department, maybe just on your path. So while we're on the topic of preparing for your performance review every year, in addition to thinking back around what your year has been, what you've been able to accomplish, and might I just say, what you're doing right now, working from home, juggling so many things, that right there is a big accomplishment. I really want you to give yourself a pat on the back right now about that. So we're going to talk in a minute about SMART goals, but when you go into your performance review, you're going to be ready to talk about what your professional goals are. Your supervisor will want to know that so that he or she can help you. If they don't know, they can't sort of give you opportunity. So be sure that you be ready to talk about what your goals are. You're going to ask and be welcoming to the idea of what can I do better? Sometimes we don't see ourselves the way other people see us. So you want to really be open, and not only open, but asking for feedback. Here's one that is often missed, and that is to talk to your supervisor about what you can do to make their job easier. I think it's sometimes feels like supervisors are, I don't know how you feel, it sounds like you have a wonderful team, maybe you don't feel this way, but sometimes people feel like the supervisor has things all under control and they're the boss and they make things happen, but in reality, they really need a team. And whatever you can do to help them get to where they're going is going to help both of you. And if you see a problem in the area that you work in, some challenge, it's fine to bring it to the attention of your supervisor at this time, but offer a solution. That was something I really had to learn along the way. I prided myself on being able to point out everything that was wrong in the hospital, in my department. I could tell you every single thing that was not right. And someone sat down with me and said, so I can see that as well. Actually, it was the vice president of human resources called me into his office and said, I agree with you, but I don't know what to do about it. Can you give me an idea? And that really set me back on my heels because I'd never thought about the solution. I'd only thought that I was pretty smart for seeing that there was a problem. So when you go into your review, or even before, at any time, bring solutions to your supervisors and to your department. So you probably noticed we have a theme here about the puzzle. Your career development is made up of a lot of different pieces. They are not necessarily sequential. You can jump in at any point along the way of this whole big picture of your professional development. I have come up with 10 strategies. We're on number 3 already. And I do think that very often the first thing that people think about is having a resume. I can't see all of you on the screen, but I'm tempted to ask how many of you have updated your resume within the last, say, 6-8 months. You might think about that. And on your resume, you want to add in all the time those certificates, workshops, achievements, goals that you've reached, ways that you've helped your department. Those things can go right into your resume. So the basics here are, of course, that you're going to have a timeline of things, your educational background, so forth. You want to format it so it's well received by people who are looking at it, but do keep it updated on an ongoing basis.
Nelda, can I add one thing here?
Oh
Because
yeah, Candace, I hope you would, yeah.
no problem. This department is so impactful when it comes to our student training piece. And any of you that sort of touch a student, that helps mentor, provides any type of direction to that student in any way, shape, or form, that's developing your supervisory skills, your leadership skills. So I always encourage those individuals that are supervising an intern or in any way should add that to their resume to demonstrate leadership supervisory skills.
Yeah, yeah, thank you for that. And I did ask Candace to really jump in at any time. She has such a great perspective of things that are going on at Dana-Farber. I can really talk pretty big picture, but really honing in on things that you can do in your job there is really helpful. So I am going to give you all a chance to talk pretty soon, but do feel free to turn off your camera, or don't turn off your camera, please. I'm going to ask you to turn off your microphone and just jump in anytime when you have a reaction to anything that speaks to you or a thought. Okay. I am going a little fast, I know that. So SMART goals. A SMART goal is one that is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. It is also one that is written down and committed to. And fortunately, next time in May, we're going to dive deep into what your particular SMART goals are. And we're going to develop them so that you are going to walk away from this workshop series having a real clear focus on your professional SMART goal. And these are things that you will rewrite and refocus on and revisit all the time because goals shift a little bit, and sometimes the action steps need to be aligned with what's going on currently. So we'll talk about that in May more. I'm going to spend a bit of time on this strategy, strategy 5, networking. I honestly feel this is the most important skill, strategy, activity that anybody can do. Candace has already mentioned getting involved with the workforce development mentoring program for students. That is a form of networking. That is a form of getting people to know more about you and your department, being able to mentor somebody. Word of mouth spreads. People might mention you as the person who has inspired them. That could be start pulling on a thread that will help you. You're not doing it to help your own career, but it will help your career. The first one I have listed here is to keep your camera on. By that, I mean, it's really symbolic as well as very literal. When you're in meetings, keep your camera on, smile, be present, be engaged. People appreciate that. And it just sends a signal that you are approachable and that you're involved. Your LinkedIn account. I would love to know how many of you have a LinkedIn account. A LinkedIn account, would you just, I don't know. Yeah, you do. Good. Okay. Is your picture on your LinkedIn account? I hope so. Your summary of who you are, what your vision for your professional career will probably send out, especially now during the pandemic, that will reach more people in sort of the professional areas that you want to be in than anything else that you can do right now. As things loosen up a little bit, you're going to have more in-person opportunities, but I would say LinkedIn is just a really key element of your LinkedIn, your strategy for networking. Trying new things outside your comfort zone. Maybe getting involved with mentoring a student, maybe joining a professional or interest group. We'll talk about those a little bit more. Maybe it's volunteering. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's introducing yourself to someone that you really would like to know better in the organization, and actually taking the risk of introducing yourself and telling them who you are and getting to know them better. We'll talk more about that in a minute. So volunteering, Dana-Farber itself has a wonderful opportunities such as the Pan Mass Challenge and the Jimmy Fund Walk. I think they're happening, although it's virtual right now. Still, actually going on a big race is easier to do virtually than it is in real person. So now might be the time to do that one. That would how it would be for me. Okay, so let's go a little bit deeper into those professional and interest groups. At Dana-Farber, there are the employee resource groups. I've got 4 that I'd like to just mention to you. One is the young professionals. Candace, are you still here? Did you have to jump off? I think she sent me a message that she had to jump off. I hope she.
No, she's still here and she dropped the link in the chat
Oh,
for
good.
affinity groups.
Oh, thank you. Oopsie. Let me go back.
I'm sorry, I was slow to my unmute, but yes, I just dropped the link to all of the ERGs in the chat. And now I'm here for you. I'm here.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so as I said, I have 4, the young professionals, the Caregivers Alliance, formerly called Working Parents, Employee Resource Group. But if you are a caregiver of someone who is older or with a disability or something like that, you are a caregiver. So that one might be where you could meet other people who are also professionals, but dealing with personal responsibilities just as you are, and you can give each other support. So this one, actually it's called the LGBT Employee and Friends Resource Group. I added the Q, that was just me. I have a number of friends who are in this category, LBGTQ, sometimes it's LBGTQIA. So that was just me with a little homage to my friend. But if you or someone you know wishes to be an ally or finds that you identify this way, there's a great resources for you here. And of course, Mosaic. Candace, do you want to say a word about Mosaic?
Oh gosh, so Mosaic is one of our ERG groups, and again, it focuses on the highlighting and celebrating cultural and cultural awareness and diversity. And Marcia and myself actually both serve on that leadership team, and would welcome anyone to sort of join either the leadership team or even just join, in which I'm sure. So if you've attended some of the programs that have been offered, generally on a monthly basis, and we have a newsletter that goes out. So if you want to be added to our newsletter as well, please feel free to let us know, and we can do that as well. But any of these employee resource groups are fantastic and worth connecting to in one way, shape, or form. It's a great networking tool.
Absolutely.
Resource.
Yeah. Thank you, Candace. I appreciate that. So here's something that you may not have thought about in terms of maximizing your networking. Again, anytime that you meet someone new or have a new experience, you want to pop that into your professional development file. And I can't remember who said it, but someone said that the person that inspired them was someone who remembered little things, who remembered a conversation that maybe you had a week ago, a month ago, maybe even a year ago. If you meet someone that you would like to just maybe get to know better, make a little note, something about their personal interests or something that they mentioned to you that you can just put it in to remind yourself. If you ever, the fact of writing it down is going to help it cement it in your brain. But the next time you're in with that person, if you had reviewed your notes, you might be able to reference that. And that makes a big impact. You can also call or contact the Office of Workforce Development to give you guidance around how to maximize your network, how to be involved in ways that have meaning for you. Am I right about that, Candace?
Absolutely.
All right. This one is very personal. I started this many years ago. I have a little folder that I've carried with me and a couple of moves that I've had. I pop in there, it's called my ego file. I pop in anytime that somebody sends me a thank you note. If they do it online, I print it off and I put it in there. Cards that I find that have inspirational quotes, pictures that I find of things that maybe pictures that make me look good. I was like, wow, that was a good picture of me. I'm gonna pop that right in there. And you know, when you get to feeling like, "Oh, man, I don't know, does anybody really even care? Does anybody think that I'm as special as I would like to be? I pull out my little ego file, and honestly, it really does give me a boost. So do it for you. I can hear, I hope that Kimberly, for example, today will just make a note to herself how well she's appreciated in the department, because I heard that over and over today. Let's see.
Nelda, can I
On
just
time.
can I do a pause while you're checking time and just
Yeah.
ask, does anyone do that? Do they hold on to the thank you notes or the recognition emails? And then, you know, what's
I
your
have a kudos
strategy?
folder that I use.
Say that
In
again?
In my email, I have a kudos folder.
Yeah.
So it's not, there's like no pictures of myself in there, but that's where when someone says something nice.
Good.
Or there's a particular shout out or like a well done.
Yeah. So important.
do the
Anyone
same.
else?
I do the same. I have a folder, and on those difficult days, sometimes I'll go in there and just read over an email that I received. So I do keep them.
Good, good. No, it's so
Do you do it,
important.
Candace?
I think it's something you taught me actually. And yeah, I do. I do. So important.
And I guess I'll just take a minute to say how important that is to people to do it for yourself, but take a minute to send a note of appreciation to someone else. Because saying thank you, acknowledging something that someone has done for you that they didn't even really realize that it was important, and letting them know, it's just, it just is, especially now with the pandemic, you feel so alone sometimes. You really don't know if anybody really knows who you are or cares about you. So make a point to, it can be in an email, it can be a text, it can be anything, but I mean, I love cards, you know, and that kind of thing, but what goes around comes around, and I hope you'll take a minute to do that. I did just do a check. We are so far behind schedule. It's just ridiculous. But I think it's been a valuable day anyway, and I'm going to continue to get through what I did want to tell you about. And we just might not have as much time as I like for to hear back from you. So we may have to wait for next time to work that in. So let's keep going. Strategy 7, read professional journals. Check out what the openings are at Dana-Farber. Look for, if you're thinking about going back to school, adding to your education, explore what the different programs are, the certificates that it might be available. One thing I want you to have your antenna out for is College for America. If you are thinking about getting a certificate, if you already have your degree or if you don't have a bachelor's degree yet, I love College for America. It's a partnership that Dana-Farber has with Southern New Hampshire University. It's designed for the working professional. I hope that it will continue to be something that Dana-Farber will enable you to take advantage of without having to put money up front for it. You know, tuition reimbursement is where you have to pay for it and then you get the money back. I'm hoping the feature of being able to take advantage of the program and having Dana-Farber pay for it afterwards, and you don't have to do any outlay of cash. I'm hoping that will happen, but watch for it. It's called College for America. And ONET Online, www.onetonline is a national database of careers and what's trending, what salaries you might earn for certain careers. You might want to go and look at what's going on in healthcare. It just gives you access to data around what's going on in the various careers, which might inform what schools you might want to go to or what kind of degrees you might want to go after. So this is really important. This all important. But honestly, you are special. You have a special way of communicating. You have to be aware of how you communicate. And sometimes when you are feeling like you have really said something amazingly wonderful, it's not heard the way you had hoped it would be heard. So it's helpful to have somebody who can give you some feedback about how you might be coming across. But you should know, are you a person who likes to communicate in writing? You're better at that in writing, or do you like to say things through text? That's sort of writing, except spelling is terrible. But be aware of how you do best. Your values. Now that one is saying a lot in 2 little words. Is it family first for you? Is it money first for you? I'm going to hope that you will, if you're in healthcare, that your values are about people. I hope your values, and I don't want to be judgmental. Your values are your values, but know what they are. Know how you learn best. Do you learn best through, audio, or do you have to read something in order to get it? Is hands-on the best way that you learn? Know yourself and know what you really, really, and I say really want. Don't let someone else tell you anything that you should want. You have your own life, you have your own career, and you need to bring that to any job that you might apply for and to make sure that your values and who you are and what your skills are going to match up with what jobs you pursue in the future. I'll leave it at that. But I will say that if you know that you don't ever want to work in a bank, don't go work in a bank like I did. I thought working in a bank would make me important. I worked in academia for a long time, but I always felt like nobody really thought that was very important, but I thought banking would be really a great thing. And I could say I worked in a bank. I don't know, I was young. I went to work in a bank, and I'm telling you, I could not wait to not work in a bank anymore. I did not care about people's bank accounts. I didn't care. I didn't care about the things that they seemed to be so concerned about, but I found I did care about people's health. And I'm so glad that I finally got to the place where I'm truly know that this is the right place for me. Know how you want to be perceived in the workplace. Everybody has, I'm going to call it a brand. You may have heard this before. And if you are perceived already as that solid contributor, that person that you can be counted on, you might want to continue to do that. Solid contributors sometimes are not the ones who, I don't want to say it this way, but if your goal is to not be the solid contributor all the time, but rather to be the creator, the one who has the big ideas, who tries something new, who goes outside the box, and maybe is not perceived as the solid contributor anymore. Maybe they're being seen as maybe the disruptor because they have some new ideas. I'm not sure. I don't want you to be a disruptor, that's for sure. But you do want to foster the perception that other people that you want to have in your workplace. I think for me, I've never been the go-to person because I never know how to fix the computers when they go wrong. I call Nora for that. I think I probably am one of those disruptors a little bit, the creative one. So maybe you can just look at, can anybody here identify one that you feel like talks to you? I'm not going to stay too long on this page because I know we're running out of time. We have 4 minutes. I'm just going to go, guys, because I have some other things I want to tell you about. Oh, good. Strategy 10. Finding a mentor. Some of you have talked about having had a mentor and how important that was. So as you are keeping your antenna out for things that are going to help you with your career growth, your professional development, know your goals. We're going to talk about SMART goals next time. So you are going to keep that in the back of your mind. You're going to consider who you admire in the workplace. You've already thought about that because you told me about it at the beginning. I want you to know the difference between a mentor and a sponsor. A sponsor is somebody who's going to be sort of going to bat for you to help you get a job. They're going to be making the phone calls for you if you are interested in a particular job. A mentor does not do that. A mentor is someone who can talk with you, who can give you good advice, who can be a role model for you, who cares about you in a way that a sponsor might have ulterior motives for wanting to sponsor you for something. So just be aware, there is a difference. Doing your research before you ask someone to be a mentor. Check out on LinkedIn. Think about ask other people about what that person, who they might think might be a good mentor. I worked in a place one time where they were developing a mentoring program, and I had a person I was mentoring, and we spent most of our time researching the people at the very, very, very top of the chain, who the president, the CEO. We learned about them through many different resources, and they became human to us. And the next time that I met any of those people who were at the very, very top, I knew who I was talking to, and I was able to talk to them much more comfortably. You might ask for an information interview. We can talk about that in coaching. You can practice on that. Has anyone ever done an informational interview with anyone? It's not asking for a job. It's just asking for them to give you insight into their career path and their career. And you don't want to waste anybody's time. So you're going to come to every meeting with your mentor ready to spend quality time, not just having somebody to vent to and not be aware of and respectful of what they're really giving to you, what a gift they're giving to you. All right. Putting it all together, personalized professional coaching. That's me. I work in the Office for Workforce Development. You can think about contacting me through that office to set up a time that we can sit down and look at all these elements together, think about your SMART goals, and strategize on ways that we can get you to the place that you want to be in your career with good planning and a step-by-step approach. I will hold you accountable. Let me just go. Here's what I do. I help you. Let me just go to I can't see my screen to tell you the truth.
I'm going to actually, you know what? No, just speak for the sake of time.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep that, you can keep your slide up.
Yeah.
But I just want to, because I don't know if anyone's going to have to drop off the line. We are at time. Right. I want to just say that these sort of 10 tips, we had to go through them fairly quickly. I think our introductions, as important as they are, and I'm so glad, and I would not substitute the way we introduced. I love being able to connect with you through learning what was important to you. It did, cut into our presentation time, but know that, these are 10 strategies that we just touched the surface on. So for any of these, if any of you want to go a little deeper, learn a little bit more, have a question teed up for the next time we get together, please know that you can do that. We have this finite hour with you, but you know that our office, our work is about you. And so for anything you want additional information, I put in the chat, I don't know if you saw it, that if you don't have a LinkedIn and you want to get one started, let us know. And if we can't do it, also know, you know, our focus is really in this space of working with our administrative staff, our frontline staff, and helping them to develop themselves in advance. We also have another learning and OD team, and they're going to be one of our guest speakers at a future seminar where they can talk about even additional resources that are offered through that office. So I want to just give you a few questions. I know an opportunity to ask any questions that you might have. And now, are there any other final points before?
No, thank you, Candace. This is just such a great group, and I'd hope to have you have time to talk with each other and process this a little, but maybe we can do that next time. But questions, comments, please, if you have the time, I'd love to hear them.
Okay.
Well, I don't have a question, but I'm actually really grateful for this seminar, and your presentation was phenomenal, Nelda. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Anyone else?
I agree. Sometimes you can feel kind of stuck on where to go next. And I feel like this probably gave all of us a little direction going forward. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you, Maura.
Yeah.
And I've met with you before, Nelda, a couple of times. And I thought I knew it all, but apparently not, because I learned some from your presentation. And I now know I need to find some sponsors. I have mentors, but I need to find some sponsors to help me get to that next level.
Find out what's in it for them.
Yes. Thank you so much.
I just wanted to add, Amanda, are you okay if we send you the slide decks for you to share with the group, as well as link to the recording?
Yep. Thank you.
And then also we will, we love feedback. It's the only way we can improve what we're doing. And again, I echo what Candace mentioned, you know, this is really for you all. And so any feedback is good feedback, and we will be sending a survey after each session.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank you all.
Okay, have a good month. We'll see you in May.
Oh, did you stop?